Hello there, welcome back. And today we are diving into what I think is a game-changing business strategy, talking about semi-passive income. So if you are tired of the constant hustle and wondering how to bring in revenue without being in launch mode, this episode is for you. So semi-passive income isn't about doing nothing, it's about working smarter, and it's about setting up revenue streams that run in the background so that you can focus on what matters most. So in this episode, we're going to cover what semi-passive income really is. It's not a get-rich scheme. There is some work, but we're going to talk about how to make money in between launches and simple scalable strategies like Evergreen offers, affiliate income, and repurposing content that can bring in consistent cash. So grab your coffee, your sparkly beverage, your hot chocolate because it's still freezing out in Ohio, and let's talk about how you can create a scalable, sustainable income stream without launching all the time. Hello there, and welcome back to this episode of the Crush the Rush podcast. Today, we are diving into a topic that could potentially totally shift the way that you run your business. And it's really thinking about what I call semi-passive income. And so to me, this is the type of income that you can create and bring into your business in between launches. So it's really helping you when you say like, oh my gosh, I really want a predictable income schedule. This is what this does, right? So if you're sitting here thinking like, is this really real? Let me reassure you, passive income isn't necessarily about working less, but working smarter. And I think one of the things that I sort of get like a red flag about is when you hear somebody say passive income and then they're like, oh, but I'm just sitting at the beach and money is just coming in. They probably are sitting at the beach and money is coming in, but they also probably did a decent amount of work for that to happen. So it really is about being smart, about creating systems and revenue that sort of free you from that constant, like, how am I going to bring money in this month? And really think about the parts of your business and your schedule that mean the most to you. So I'm excited. We're going to dig in. We're going to dig into the like exact strategies that we've been able to use, but I want to share like a little behind the scenes story as we do on this podcast sometimes. And I think it's important to share, like when I first started back in 2020, my opinion at the time was, okay, the more that I launch, the more that I'll bring in. So I just need to launch and I need to launch and I need to launch. And so I was pouring all of my energy into these really big events. So lots of steps, big events. And it was great because, with launching, you always learn something. You're fixing things behind the scenes. You're dialing your messaging. So there's a lot of good that came from it. But it also left me like really, really drained. And I just remember looking at my calendar like, I can't launch every month. Like it's just impossible. It doesn't feel good. I don't think it feels good for my audience. So I knew that I needed a business model that worked for me, but didn't demand all of me. And so that's when I really started to get into this like semi-passive income and how do I build my bank account, also make an impact without launching all the time. So the first thing that I want to share, and this episode is really not about launching, but I do recommend that you do a live launch once a quarter or twice a year. So depending on what your schedule or your goals look like. So keeping that in mind, it's like, how do we fill in the gaps? And semi-passive income doesn't require for you to be constant, hands-on, I have to do all the things. Basically, what it does is you're doing some like creative upfront work and then it's sustainable and can run, while you're doing other things in the background. So think of it as like planting seeds in the garden. You've got these like launches that like bookmark your calendar and then you're leaning into these passive income strategies that bring revenue in while you're not launching so that these revenue streams can keep working for you even when you're not. And so before we get into like the actual steps, I just want to reiterate that I think launches are important. I think they're an amazing way to bring in revenue and generate excitement and like grow your audience at a deeper level, but they're a lot of work. So let's talk about how you can actually bring in income without launching and go through some really specific examples. The first thing that I am really digging into a lot more this year, and you'll see this come to life in like real life, is turn your live launch into Evergreen. So Evergreen just means that it runs by itself. So let's just say that you launched a digital course, you went through a big live launch, and then instead of shelving it till next quarter or next year, what you do is you set it up so that it can run year round. So you create a funnel, you create a download that somebody can download and see and learn all the things, and then they have a sales sequence. And so that's just a really easy way to take what you have and build something on top of it so that it exists and can bring in income while you're not launching it. Now, of course, with any evergreen model, you know that you have to have some sort of client attraction strategy, which we talk about in anti-social school. Like, you have to have an audience, like you have to talk about it in order for people to do it. But it's a great way to get out of doing launches all of the time. Another strategy that has worked great for us is a post-launch downsell. So let's pretend that you just got done launching this course. You've done all the work. You've spent months on it. You did all the sales page review, the copy, everything. You're going strong. You've got the momentum. And then at the end of the launch, you just stop. What I recommend is to add something on at the end of the launch for people that didn't buy. So you could add on a light version of your program. So maybe it's like a bundle of 3 live coaching calls. Maybe it's like the first workshop in the program. Maybe it's like a smaller bite-sized version or something that you can pull out of the program and sell separately. It's just giving somebody who didn't purchase for whatever reason a different option. You can also do an upsell at the end of a launch because you've done all of this work, right, to get the momentum going. So you could say, hey, let's pretend we're launching a membership. Some people don't love memberships. So let's sell a one-on-one at the end of it. You're the same person. You're the person that's teaching it. So maybe this is a better fit for them. So the goal is this passive income strategy is keeping on the momentum of the launch and offering them something different or bite size. And then last but not least, you can take whatever you did from your launch and you can repurpose it. So a great example of this is like a masterclass replay. We actually just did this week. I taught our content planning and repurposing workshop. It's a 90-minute workshop. You can get it anytime inside our club. If you missed it, you can go to our website and you can download it. Now, the cool part is when you download it, we've added like some bonuses to make it even more exciting. We've added our AI bots. We've added our monthly planning PDF. But if you don't want to join a membership or you don't want to do a one-on-one and you just want that like thing that's going to help you for a very specific topic, you can take something from your launch and you can repurpose it and build a store. And I think the cool part of this strategy is people love the flexibility of learning on their own time. Maybe they're not ready for all the bells and whistles. Maybe they're not ready for you like really asking them all the things to do. Or if you have a product, maybe they have the product and they really just want some extra help. So when you think about live launches, I want you to think about all the other things that can come out of it, right? The upsell, the downsell, the masterclass that you can sell, things that you can piece apart that will give you more opportunities to bring in revenue. So that's number one of how to create a semi-passive income strategy. It's to just lean into your launches and make sure that you've got some things on the other end. Number two is let's talk about other income streams. And when I say other income streams, I'm talking about things that you can create, but also things that other people are creating. So let me explain. The first one in this category is affiliate income. So this has been really big for us, but it has been a slow roll. So when I first started, if somebody was like, Holly, you're going to bring in $3,000 a month from other businesses, I would be like, whatever. But it's happened, and it's happened pretty consistently because we've been consistent with this strategy. So the goal here is that you're partnering with other business owners and tools you believe in. So for example, if your audience craves or needs a project management tool and you love the one that you use, you could promote your favorite software through an affiliate link, right? This is not new. So last month alone, we brought in over $2,000 from tools. And how did we do this? Well, we built ourselves a resources page on our website, and it just simply has all of my favorite things. So I don't recommend things that I'm not personally using or that I have an association with, but it's like everything from our podcast toolkit, what microphone we use, what software we use, how we set up our desk when we're recording to some of my favorite courses and coaches that I've worked with. And so if you're a branding expert, as an example, you could complement your offers with a different software that you love to create the brand assets that you're creating. So it's really a win-win for everyone. And I think the trick here is if there's another program that you're promoting that another coach teaches. As an example, I just shared the other day a copywriting resource that I really love. I am not a copywriter. I don't teach copywriting, but most of my clients need support with copywriting. So for me, it's a win-win because I really believe in the program. I love how this person teaches, and I know that you need it. So what I do is if there's a couple of programs that I really believe in, I will take the time to put their launches on my calendar so that I know I'm going to plan my launches around their launches so that I don't have to have a big fancy launch and I can just lean in to what they're doing. So take the time to really think about what are some affiliates that you can lean into, and that's going to help you have a more predictable income. The second piece of this is think about low ticket add-ons. So this is like a whole class in strategy here, but the number one way that we sell our planners is through an add-on at checkout. And when I say add-on, I mean you're like purchasing the club or you're purchasing Antisocial School or you're purchasing a workshop and we're like, hey, you're 40% more likely to get what you say you want to get done if you write it down. And our planner is the great way to do that. I think it's $27 as an add-on, and it's $37 normally. So save $10, and we sell almost all of our planners that way. It's just a quick way to like add a check mark and say, yes, I just want to add this on. So if you're selling a workshop as an example, you could do like a $9 checklist add-on, or you could do like add on a strategy call. It doesn't necessarily have to be something small, but think about add-ons as a way to create more income without having to sell more. And then last but not least, and I've talked about this quite a bit, is serve your current clients. So this is a big one. If you're like, I really don't want to launch, it's just too much work, I'm not in the right headspace. Okay, well, what can you do with your current clients? Could you offer a VIP upgrade, like something that they've been asking for forever? Could you do a bonus workshop? Could you create a resource that solves their problem? And then you can sell it separately as well. But when you lean into serving your existing audience, you're not only bringing in revenue, but you're also deepening relationships. So far we've talked about making the most of your launch and different ways to turn it evergreen. We've also talked about leaning into other streams of income. So leaning into other launches, low ticket add-ons, and just really serving the heck out of your clients. And then last but not least, I really want you to think about how can you optimize and repurpose what you already have. So here's where things get really fun, and I think you can be really creative, is just because you don't want to launch something doesn't mean that you can't sell. So you can create workshop bundles. So if you've hosted a lot of different workshops, you can bundle them together, and then you could have a sale where you're selling them all together for a specific price. You could create digital templates off of workshops that we've talked about. And then, you can take everything that you've created before and you can turn it into different content. So really leaning into content repurposing. If you have a great workshop that you taught, you could break it into different blog posts that then go into selling it later. You could take podcast episodes and bundle them and make them into a playlist or digital products. Like there's so many ways that you could be creative with what you already have and just repurpose it. So repurposing is all about saving time and really maximizing the value of what you already have. And then finally, and I think this goes without saying, but lean into relationships. So if you're like, man, I just don't really know what to do next, I don't feel like launching, I love these passive income ideas, but guess what? Some of the best income opportunities come from simply connecting with your audience and your peers. So send some client check-ins, start some conversations. You never know where your next collaboration could come from. As an example, last year I did a 4-week podcast series with my friend Allison, and it was so fun. It was just a side conversation we had about, hey, this feels like a really cool collaboration. And it significantly grew both of our email lists. And then sometimes if you don't know what to create next or don't know what to bundle next, ask your audience, do a poll, send out an email, send out a survey, And, the easiest way to figure out what to create is to ask your audience what they need. It doesn't mean that you have to do the exact thing, but it does mean that this is what they're struggling with. And you might have something that you can create or bundle, or maybe a partnership that you can lean into to help solve their problems. So these strategies have been a real game changer in our business. I have done multiple evergreen strategies that have brought in consistent revenue for months. I've also partnered with friends in my network for affiliate promotions. And let me tell you, they're really amazing launchers. You can learn so much from being an affiliate. And then I can lean into their launches when I want to take a break from launching. And then collaborations have not only added to our income, but also just strengthened our relationships. So if you want the data, the formal launches in our business make up about 50% of our income, and the rest comes from what I call these small strategic moves. So if you're listening and you could double your income from being super focused on one or two of these passive income strategies, like heck yes, that's so amazing, right? What can you do to create a partnership or be a part of someone else's launch or create a resource page on your website that will slowly over time become a source of affiliate income? And so I think the cool part is these strategies has given me a lot of schedule freedom to focus more on what I love and really leaning into what can I do that is even better than what I've done before, because I don't have to worry about launching all the time. So the big takeaway is you don't have to feel like you have to launch every single day. And I want you to think about your calendar. Think about combining intentional launches with some of these semi-passive income strategies, because that's the model that's going to give you the stability and the freedom. So as you're listening to this, I know we went through a lot of ideas really quick. What is one action that you could take today? Could you repurpose a past launch? If you're leaning into launch season, could you have an upsell or a downsell? Are there affiliate opportunities that you could lean into because you don't feel like launching right now? Or is it simply sharing your favorite software and just doing it consistently? Maybe it's bundling different offers you have or adding in a low ticket offer. But the goal is to start small and start somewhere. So I hope you guys are excited about this strategy. It's really important that we talk about how to actually bring in money into your business on a consistent basis that works in a way that works for you and your schedule. And so remember, you don't have to do this alone. Hopefully you're coming back every week and listening to the Crush the Rush podcast. But if you're ready for more support and want more strategies like this with details on how you can specifically do it, you could come join us inside the Crush the Rush Club. It's really where strategy meets community. I'm in there live answering all of your questions, and we can build out your semi-passive income strategy for you. Just head to my DMs and ask me any questions, or just go to hollymaryhaines.com/club, and let's keep the conversation going.